In this video, we're going to do a couple of things. First of all, going to update the function itself. Instead of being the hello world equivalent, we're going to have it retrieve cryptocurrency prices, and then we're going to create a command line application to connect to that function. Now, first of all, let's look at how we're going to get these cryptocurrency prices. So there is a site called CoinGecko.com, and if you've seen any of my other content, you may have seen me do this already. However, this is a free API, or they offer a free API for getting data about cryptocurrencies. So if I go to Products and Crypto API, and then to Explore Docs, it's going to give me the Swagger-like interface. If I go here to Simple, this is the endpoint that I'm going to use, and try it out, and there are two required fields: IDs, which could be the ID or more than one ID if you want. We'll just use one here. Bitcoin, and then a currency to convert it into, and I'll just say USD for US dollars. Go down here to execute, and we'll see the request URL, which I'm going to want, and then here's what the body's going to be. So for each coin, there's going to be a key and an object, and then inside of that's going to be another object, which the keys are going to be the currencies. Okay, let's go back over to init.py here, and a lot of this is going to be removed. Now, one thing that I do need to do, I'm going to use the Python request package in order to call CoinGecko, so I need to do a pip install requests, and then also I need to go into the requirements.txt and add requests, because eventually when we deploy this to Azure, we'll need to tell Azure that this requires requests. And go back to init.py, and then I'll need to import requests as well. Alright, so all of this I'm going to get rid of, and then I'm going to say I want to get a coin ID, and that's going to, whoops, needs to be an equal sign. That's going to be in request.parameters.get, and I'm going to look for a name parameter coin. If there is no coin, we'll use Bitcoin by default. Then I'm going to have that URL, and what I want to do is use an F string and replace the ID of the coin with the one that came in with the request, and we'll just use the currency for as USD for now. You could parameterize that as well, but it's not a big deal right now. And then data, lowercase, is when we're going to request.get, just pass it that URL. We know we're going to get JSON back, so that will parse it into a dictionary for us, and then we can get the coin price, which is going to be data. That's going to be a dictionary. The key is the coin. That's going to be another dictionary, and then the key is going to be USD to get the price. So essentially what this function does is it simplifies the interface to CoinGecko. Now I want to return this. So I'm going to return func.http response, and I'm going to want to return some JSON. So I'm going to create a dictionary and then dump the string, use the JSON module to dump a string from it. So I need to bring in that JSON module, which is in the Python standard library, and say JSON dump s, and then this dictionary is merely going to have coin as a key and coin price as a value. And then I want to have, and I need to have a MIME type to tell it that it is actually JSON. So the MIME type is going to be application/JSON. Alright, now if I didn't make any flubs, so this should work. Let's go back over to RESTbook now and say investments. We want to do a GET request here. Requestments will say coin equals Solana. And we don't need this, and we don't need the body anymore. And let's see what happens. There we go. We get back the price for Solana and Ethereum as well. All right. Let's create a command line interface for this. And I'm going to use a very simple package called click for this. Import, not import, pip install click. Now this I don't need to add to the requirements.txt because this is for development only. In reality, production, I would do this in a completely different virtual environment, but this will be simpler for right now. I'm going to create a new file, call it mempy client.py, and I'll import click. And I'm also going to need requests because that's how I'm going to call the function. I'm going to create a function in here called getCoinPrice. And it's going to accept the ID of a coin. Now what I need to do is call, in here I'm going to call the function. So I need to create an F string, and I want to go over to RESTbook. I want to get this URL here, paste it, and I want to parameterize the coin. And now I'll do just something very similar by using requests, get the URL. It's going to come back with JSON, and then this time all I need to do is print is the dictionary that comes back is much simpler. Now to tell click that I want to use this, I need to do two things. First of all, I need to decorate it with click.command. And secondly, I will say that I want to pass the coin as an option. So I'll say click.option. The option is going to be _coin. And we'll go ahead and add a default of Bitcoin. And now down here, I have to say if name equals main, get coin price. All right, let's try this out and see how it works. So if I say Python, mempy client, coin, Solana, we come back with we have a problem. We're getting a JSON decode error. In other words, this is not returning JSON. Now, why might that be? Well, recall that initially when using RESTbook, we were trying to call our function and we were getting back HTML. And that's because we weren't authenticating with this GitHub token. Same thing's happening here because nowhere in here are we specifying that we're going to use that GitHub token. So in other words, it doesn't know that this request coming from our command line application should be allowed. So we have to put the GitHub token in the xGitHub token header. Now that's actually pretty easy to do here. I can just say headers equals and make it a dictionary. I can add a key for xGitHub token. And then I need to get the GitHub token down here. We'll copy it and paste it. And then I can use the headers keyword argument to give it the headers. All right, let's try this again. And now we get back to the price for Solana. Like we discussed in the last month, this is a bad idea. We'd like to store this in an environment variable. Now with Codespaces, that can be a little bit inconvenient sometimes. So there's actually a better way to do this, and that's to store this in a secret. So I'm going to go to github.com, and I'm going to go into my settings and Codespaces, and you're going to see this section here for Codespaces secrets. So if I create a new secret, and I'll call it mempy GitHub token, and then go back over here and get the token. And now I can also select which repositories have access to it. And this is why I created a repository for this particular project and started the code space from there. And now I add the secret. And it's going to tell me that my secrets have changed, and so I need to reload the code space. Now that secret will be exposed as an environment variable. So I'll be able to say echo, what did I call it? And there we go. So now all I need to do is put this into an environment variable. So I'll import OS and instead of here say os environ.get and mempy GitHub token. And if I say run, I probably need to start my function again. So func start. All right. Go back to my other terminal. Python, mempy client, --coin, Solana. It still works. And if I just leave the coin off completely, it'll give me Bitcoin. All right, now what we need to do is we need to get this onto Azure, and we'll look at doing that in the next video.